Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Saturday night. Welcome back to ROM Hack Races. How's it going? I hope you're feeling well. It's a big weekend for Kaizo, and we're going to keep that rolling along right here. It's week 266 around these parts, and we have got a level from Shovda tonight. I've seen a lot of excitement for this, and that's well deserved. Shovda is a very good creator, player, streamer, SMW hack moderator, and she's here tonight with a level for us called Atrophy. Now, if you're new, if you don't know what's up here, this is ROM Hack Races, and every Saturday night we have a fresh Super Mario World Kaizo level that no one's ever seen before, except the maker and the testers, of course, but the racers are just going to have to improvise. It's a sight reading competition, so they have a little bit of knowledge about what's in the level, and they're just going to have to use their skills and wits and determination to make it through. They do know a little bit because we had some testers behind the scenes who play the level ahead of time, check it out, and give it difficulty rankings. And so the racers this week know that the score for execution is 5 out of 10, complexity is 4 out of 10. The racers also know that there are 2 sections, and those sections are rated 5 out of 10 for length. This is a cape level, and the racers know that already. So we've got some interesting folks, I think, coming out of the woodwork, because cape is a very particular and quite possibly the most challenging and difficult sub-discipline of tech in Super Mario World. You're going to see some really interesting stuff here and some great moves from some of these racers. Before we get into that, though, I'd like to thank the testers this week: Silent Snake, Mythbrillionaire, Gossip Greg, Blue Ribbon High Life, RB Pimlico, and Solve for X. And welcome, Gossip Greg, to the ROM Hack Races tester team. We really appreciate that. They volunteered and signed up to help us test. Thank you and welcome. Appreciate that so much. We've got 15 brave individuals who have signed up tonight to race this one. We might get even more. B2DEBK, Bob Barrow 17, Ender of Games, Endless Ascent, Philipspad, Germdove, Ike SMB, Mason SMW, thank you for that resub too. Muzzle, Nathan MG, Proto Pizza, TJB, X Gamer 2009, and You Fail Me. And I see some very talented cape players here. There are some individuals who have really spent the time with cape hacks, and I think we're going to see something pretty incredible. I'm GlitchCat. I will be bringing you the play-by-play. If you have any questions or anything about tech, please feel free to just shout it out in chat. I'll try to give you the rundown of how this is all working. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about us and what we're doing, head on over to romhackraces.com, and you can download this patch plus any of the other 265 patches that we've raced. It's a fun way to try a bite-sized, individual serving Kaizo level without having to commit to an entire giant hack and then find yourself stonewalled halfway through. I hope y'all are feeling good, having a good evening. I see some sickos arriving in chat, and that's always good. Y'all are welcome here. Get your best Shovda emotes, get your cape emotes out, and we're gonna be starting pretty soon here. One thing to mention, there are a lot of good players who are coming out and trying this. The race, well, it is a race. We have a podium, we got a second podium and stuff, but everyone is trying their best, and you're about to see very good players playing against other very good players. So feel free to put your favorite racers' emotes up, cheer them on in chat. We're here to support everybody, regardless of their position on the leaderboard. I have yet to see a bad play in ROM Hack Races. And for those that are curious too, the dynamic going on in these races is one between consistency and one-shots. Whether or not the racers can be consistent enough at the parts they've already learned in order to get back to the part they need, or whether or not they're going to one-shot an obstacle and get a little bit of knowledge out ahead of everybody else. But we are just about ready to go. It's B2, BK, Muzzle, and Flips ready to start us off. It's ROM Hack Races 266, Atrophy from Shovda. And remember, loneliness is still time spent with the world. Interesting. Good quotation. It's a cape level. Let's go. Let's see what we got here. Now, you might see some very fast clears. Watch out. There is a lot of cape tech going on, and we will get to explaining that. But for right now, these racers are going to be jumping up in the air and flying with Mario's cape poofed out by pressing backwards every time Mario's head goes down, you're able to get a cape pump, and by holding backwards and tapping the B or the A button, you're allowed to slow down in the air. So you'll see these racers throttling their speed as they go. B2 up here in the upper left, BK in the upper right, and we got to hit these on-off switches in order to open the gap, and they obviously don't want to touch any of the spikes or green beans or anything. Keep your eyes on the lower left here, though. Flips. Look out for flips. This is vanilla cape, which has an interesting little stipulation about it that makes it a little bit more difficult. I will explain in a little bit. We have never, in all of ROM Hack Race's history, seen a one-shot on the level. Deathless one-shot ever. And Flip's Bad right now in the lower right is working on the ROM Hack Race's first ever. A zero death, one shot of the level would be a historic first. Oh my word. Well, that's a that's a historic first in and of itself. Oh, I thought they were gonna get it. You fail me in here in the lower left, and right now we are just looking at what Flips is doing. Flips in the lower right. You fail me in the lower left. Here comes Mason SMW. You fail me also. Oh yeah, also on that second section. So I'm saying there are incredibly good cape players in our community, and Shovda, an incredibly good cape level maker. Yeah, I am not even surprised. Mason SMW, here's TJB in the upper right, and yeah, it's still a contest. Yup, it is. No one is running away with this yet because we have just got some amazing cape gameplay going on. TJB, yeah, what? Oh, well, there it is. Wow. Yeah, no. TJB is an incredibly good cape player. The thing is though, you're seeing Mason, BK, You Fail Me, and Flips, all of them incredibly good cape players. Here goes Flips. No surprises here. Flips. Wow. Mason down at the orb, and BK getting right back in there. Oh my. What an amazing. This is so cool. This is so cool. Was that a one shot? So here's the thing. Ike coming in here in the lower right. In my restream window, get a little bit like, we're preparing your stream. You can't watch it yet. So I didn't get to see the clear. Was that? Yeah, TJB died at the start, so that's technically not. Nice try, though. Seriously, this is the lowest number of deaths we've had in some time. Man, freaking amazing. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for showing off these skills tonight. There is a lot to talk about with cape, but I wanted to get back to this point about vanilla cape, because it's important to highlight the skill of the racers. When you are floating with your cape puffed out like this, here goes Ike SMB in the lower right. Was that? Okay, hold up. Yeah, excuse me. Was that a one shot? Was that a one shot from Flips? There's Mason SMW in there for the orb. Man, I'm not even gonna have a chance to talk about this cape tech tonight. I wanna educate you. Was that really? Okay, yeah, that was a little bit tough to keep an eye on. TJB died once, but I mean it's a kind of pedantic. We got Germdove, BK, You Fail Me, and Ike SMB hanging out here. Flips, you have done it. This is honestly, this is a historic first, and historic first. You Fail Me, nicely done, man. They're coming in fast. No one has ever one-shotted a ROM Hack Race level ever in the history of sight reading Kaizo anywhere. Oh, excuse me, no. Sojo one-shotted a level at GDQ, but that was Maker. This is actually the first time that there has ever been a no-death one-shot of a ROM Hack Race level ever, and I think that is so impressive. Germdove, BK, Muzzle, and Ike hanging out here. So there's so much going on. I'm trying to tell you about some tech here. Most of you probably know this already. There's some cape experts in chat, but I try to gear my commentary towards the people that don't know the things. So when you're flying like this with your cape in Mario World, you are traditionally holding the Y button. to keep your cape puffed out like this in a big circle. If, while you're doing this, you switch buttons between Y and X or X and Y, what will happen will be Mario will twirl the cape, and then there's a 50-50 chance that Mario will be facing the opposite direction. That's what the patch does. When it's patched cape, it always changes direction. It doesn't give you that 50-50. But, as a lot of cape players know and will tell us, recovering from a bad turnaround is part of the skill of vanilla cape. And so you'll notice racers doing like double pumps, pumping twice in order to save themselves, or slowing down and trying to maintain a good flight pattern in order to recover from a bad turnaround. And the community's a little bit like, I don't know, a little split, but there's people that like the patch and there's people that don't like the patch. And this one is not patched. So all these turnarounds are either they're winning a 50-50 chance or they're recovering from a bad turnaround. It's just another thing about cape. It's Germdove, BK, Nathan, and Ike right now grinding this level out. And there's Ike grabbing that orb. Squished up Dry Bones orb. B2 DE81 down here in the lower right. Nathan, BK, Germdove. So there's a lot of tech involved with cape, and the thing about it is that you could call cape tech counterintuitive. Not really because it is counterintuitive, but because you can't often see what you're doing. Like, for example, when you slow yourself down, you see Mario slow down, but you have to kind of gauge how much you're slowing down by how much you're tapping the B button in that moment. There's BK using some of those double pumps to try to gain a little bit of height when they fail a turnaround. And now here's the other thing that you might be noticing, is that with the cape puffed out, some of the racers are just descending, but they're moving backwards. And how that works is, when you are puffed out with the cape, as long as you hold backwards, and I'm not saying left, I'm saying backwards, because it's the opposite of the direction Mario is facing. So like for BK right now, they want to press left. If Mario's facing left, they want to press right. You're always pressing against the direction of movement. And if you press against the direction of movement and tap the B or the A button, you will incrementally slow yourself down. And that's how they get that, like B2 DE in the lower right there is doing that really slow fly where they kind of are just gliding along. If they want to speed back up, all you have to do is continue to tap forward. So you see what I mean about how cape tech is esoteric, difficult to understand, a little bit weird and cryptic, and you just kind of have to know. And that's why the cape enthusiasts of our community are as incredibly talented as they are, because they've managed to absorb a lot of tech that you don't always get to see. In a shell jump, you see the shell, you throw the shell, it hits the wall, you watch that happen. But things like cape or Yoshi flight, turnarounds, speed up and slow down are all involved with physical nuance in the control, a touch that you just kind of have to get with. It can be challenging sometimes to show off the skill of cape, because like you might look at this level and think like, oh, this seems pretty easy because there's like a big opening or whatever. But in order to fly through skillfully, you're actually doing a lot of different inputs and very well-timed inputs to speed up, to slow down, to turn around and not hit the spikes. One time, you know what's funny about the 50-50 turnaround is one time I was playing a hack. Oh, BK! Oh, they were right there! No! One time I was playing a vanilla hack and I was doing cape turnarounds and I somehow got like 10 of them in a row, and I thought it wasn't patched but it was. I don't know, that story was dumb. But so now you know the 3 kind of principles of cape, right? You know the pump. When Mario's head goes down, you press backwards and that pumps you up, and you can do that more or less optimally to gain height. You know about changing XY to spin around, and you also know about speeding up and slowing down. And those are kind of the three main things, you know, that you need to know for cape right now. It goes a lot deeper than that, and it gets really strange when you start mixing in Yoshi and Yoshi flight along with that you can mount Yoshi and preserve your flight state while you're riding Yoshi. But now in order to pump, you have to stick out the tongue every time because you turn around. Cape gets weird. If anyone has any questions or would like to learn more about BK's amazing clear, please feel free to shout it out in chat. Good job, BK. No surprises there. BK has definitely studied the art of the cape. One of the foremost cape enjoyers and advocates in our community. We appreciate that so much. GGBK. Muzzle coming in here in the upper right. Germdove, Muzzle, Nathan MG, B2DE. Thanks for the raid, BK. Good job. Well played. Sub 12. Very good time. I'd like to point out we are 12 minutes into a race we scheduled 2 hours for, and some of these players have managed to get through this so fast, and that is a testament to the extreme amount of cape skill. Yo, I love it. Yo, Umar, hi. I love all the cape enthusiasts coming out for this, and I really just want to say shout outs to the whole cape community. I love and respect what you do. I still have to beat the special world in Volpe's Senpai, but when I played it before, I wasn't good at my double pumps to recover from a bad turnaround. Now I am. I've spent some time with the double pump. So for those that don't know, I guess I might not even be the best one to describe some of this stuff, but the double pump is if you have a bad turnaround, you can pump twice very cleverly in order to rise up in the air a little bit and kind of save yourself. Because when you do a bad turnaround, sometimes you might lose a lot of height, and that's a way to kind of prevent that from happening and keep yourself on one vertical. Yo, and let's not forget TJB. I'm trying to think of all the great cape hacks. You know, we got all the Pogyo hacks. We got Mod Cape from TJB. And I want to say, I don't think anyone's beaten Mod Cape. Is that still uncleared? TJB has this one, like, super uber incredibly tough level. Pogyo beat Mod Cape. See the intense amount of skill. Cape is one of the oldest, most ancient, most well-studied. You know what I mean? Cape is like, all of Kaizo is taking place on the surface world, you know? All the Grand Poo World 3 hype is on the surface world, and Cape is down there in the subterranean caverns. Cape has been here since the original game, right? Like, Cape is a tech from vanilla speedrunning. So, right, so a lot of people who were around before Kaizo got popular were around and studying Cape tech. It is truly the subterranean caverns beneath the surface world of Kaizo. And I have immense amount of respect for those that have studied it. I think I myself am sort of a Cape intermediary. I've done some tough stuff. I did the Volpe's Friend, I've done the Cape stuff, but Volpe's Senpai still eludes me, and Mod Cape is still a bit. The thing with Cape too is that Cape is a very patient kind of tech. A certain type of patience is required for Cape because very often you're moving slowly. It's very slow, it's very methodical, it's very precise. You want to pump exactly at the right time, you want to get speed at the right time, you want to slow down at the right time, turn around at the right moment. You know, as far as Cape goes, this is a solid 4 or 5 out of 10 kind of level. They go up to 20 out of 10. Nathan, MG right now in the lower left in the lead. Second section, and Bob Barrow, Muzzle, and B2 still working on section 1. But we're 15 minutes in. That's a very, very good work so far. Oh, excuse me. Oh, there. Oh, I didn't even see it. Bob Barrow up in the upper left getting that checkpoint. Nathan and Bob now working on the second section. But notice how everyone's got this like methodical kind of play, right? It's Cape is patient. Cape can be slow, can be patient. You know, another good one, and this is one that just occurs to me. Fly Me to the Stars. Carl Sagan's Mario World ROM hack is a whole study on the fantastic things you can do with Cape. And if you want to see something that really kind of pushes Cape to a sort of an item, almost like an item abuse kind of place, check out Fly Me to the Stars. A very, very good hack. Challenging though. If you don't consider yourself good at Cape, I wouldn't recommend learning Cape by playing Fly Me to the Stars. Don't make my mistake. I learned Yoshi Flight by playing that one level in Fly Me to the Stars. There's a Yoshi Flight level, and that was my very first experience with Yoshi Flight. And it took forever, 7 or so hours to learn Yoshi Flight by doing that freaking level. It was not the optimal way to do that. True story. Yo, yeah, Legend of the Hidden Twimple. Let's Give Up. Also, yeah, Let's Give Up is absolutely a must for folks learning Cape. That is a one. That's one that, like, play Let's Give Up and then play Fly Me to the Stars. Yeah, claiming that bounty, especially when Carl kept changing the trolls in every version he put out. Mario World is so, I think, very fascinating in that there are, like, sub-disciplines. Mario World, the physics engine, the things in the game, you could think of it like an instrument. I play guitar, so I would say guitar, but you could say whatever instrument you play, and it's like an instrument, right? Like, a guitar isn't necessarily a rock and roll instrument. You don't necessarily have to shred. You could learn jazz style. You could be Bob Barrow down here in the upper left, going for the end. They got a deep run going. But you know, with one guitar or one piano, you could play rock, you could play jazz, you could play ragtime, you could play R&B. There's all these musical styles, right? And if you've studied rock and roll, let's go, Muzzle, hey, good job. But if you've studied, you know, if you have an instrument, you might have studied shred metal for as long as you've played, and then you just fall apart when it comes to jazz chords or something, you know what I mean? I know how to do sweep arpeggios, but I can't do these complex jazz chords. If you think of Mario World, the physics engine, like an instrument, it becomes more clear how there are different sub-disciplines that don't necessarily cross over. B2, what's this? The goal? Oh, no, it's just a checkpoint. Nathan, oh. And, you know, if you really want to learn Cape Tech, if you want to go all the way back to where it all began, well, go to Donut Plains 1. I bet Bob Barrow's going to be there, because they just cleared the level, so they can go wherever they want now. GG, Bob. Well played. Man, these clears are coming in fast. I love to see this skill. Very impressive players tonight. I'm always just freaking thrilled. Y'all are so talented. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that all. I really appreciate it. It's Ender of Games in the upper left. It's Muzzle. Oh, Nathan, so close. If anybody has any questions about Cape Tech or Kaizo or Mario World ROM hacking or ROM hack races, please feel free to ask. You can always check out romhackraces.com. You can always download this patch if you want to try the level for yourself. We have a lot of cool levels. We have a Discord server. We have a base ROM for all your ROM hacking needs made by Ampersand. And a big shout out, of course, to Fen tonight for doing the restream for us. Dr. No helping us out around the shop, making posts and keeping us all in line. Really appreciate that. Where would we be without you? As well as the testers for this level tonight. Silent Snake, Mithrillionaire, our brand new tester, Gossip Greg, Blue Ribbon High Life, RB Pimlico, and Sulfur X. And I'll tell you what, we could always use a few more helping hands around here. If anyone is interested in helping out and volunteering to do this little job for ROM hack races, that would allow us to have more special events, and more person power means more stuff that we can do together. And if anyone's interested, we got lots of positions that could be filled by you. If you'd like, we got testers or scouts or restreamers. We could always use a few more hands, and if that sounds like you and you'd like to help out, please feel free to sign up on the ROM Hack Races website or Discord. We've got the forms you can fill out there. Other testers are always appreciated, and if anyone is good with OBS and would like to be a restreamer, we could definitely use a few more restreams. The more people we have that know how to restream, the more special events we could have. B2, oh, that was looking good though. Would Neapolitan Cape just randomly decide whether or not you get the turnaround? Like sometimes it's a 50-50 and sometimes it's not. Fen deserves a day to slack off. Volunteer for ROM hack races and help Fen, who does so much, slack off. Oh yeah, true, yeah, BK. Yeah, that might be, yeah, Neapolitan. There is that float delay, which we didn't even really talk about because it doesn't really apply to this level. But again, the subtle mysteries of Cape. In normal vanilla physics, if Mario has the cape and you're not flying, the cape kind of acts like a parachute. If you hold B in the air while you're wearing the cape, you will fall more slowly. And when I was a kid playing Mario World, that's what I used the cape for exclusively. As a kid, I didn't even know how to fly. Just regular flying was really challenging to do, and I didn't really get it. And so I would just use it as a parachute to make me fall slower, like the parachute cap in Wonder, if you've played that. But some makers, for whatever reason, have decided that they don't like the float delay. When you're holding B and floating with your cape, once you let go of B, there is an 8-frame delay before you actually start falling at full speed. And that seems kind of minor, but it actually can have an effect. And some makers have gotten rid of that and made it instantaneous. Personally, I think it's kind of weird. I've spent a long time getting adjusted to that delay, and then to take it away is like, I don't know. But that is just another little thing about Cape that you have to feel. Yes. Yeah, that is true, Tsunark. Yeah, you don't have to rock forward and backward. Just watch Mario's head. Mario's head dips down, press backwards. then you go barip, and you go back up in the air, and then Mario's head's up again, and then it dips down, and you press backwards. Yeah, you don't actually have to press forward, backward, just backwards. Oh, excuse me, that's 16 frames. My bad. Thank you for the info, BK. I was wrong. It's not 8 frame delay, it's 16. Yeah, not patching the turnaround is typically a design choice by makers at this point. They've just chosen to add the extra element of difficulty. The thing is, it's like, we might say, oh, because it's a 50-50 chance, it's janky or it's unfair or whatever, but yeah, be that as it may, the skill isn't getting the 50-50 every time. The skill that's being challenged by the turnaround patch not being there is recovering from a bad turnaround. That is, yeah, Nathan, I saw that. Nathan MG for the win. Good job, 26 minutes, that's awesome. Great caping. But yeah, that's the real, like, when makers don't put in the vanilla turnaround, or when makers use vanilla turnaround, what they're kind of, at least in my idea, what they're challenging the player to do is be good at recovering from bad turnarounds. It's like, yeah, you might not get the 50-50, but you can always save it if you're skillful and react quickly. And that adds a little unpredictable element to levels like this that some people find really fun, and I definitely see the appeal. B2 in the lower right, they're on a run. Oh. Exactly. Yeah, and that's a lot of when people use vanilla cape, that's exactly what they do. There's room to recover. So failing the 50-50 isn't necessarily a death sentence. What I've always said about RNG in games, and I think this tends to be true, there are two types of RNG. In Kaizo, in video games, B2 for the run, lower right-hand corner if you would please. Oh, they're in there. Yeah, I saw that. Very clean. Yep, I knew that a moment before it went off. Yeah, very clean. Good job, B2. Clean run. Well played. GG. But there are two types of RNG in games. And sometimes they can coexist. Sometimes it's hard to tell which is which. But it's easy to tell that we've got Endless Ascent, Muzzle, Germdove, and Ender of Games hanging out here on your TV screen, doing their big moves. Two types of RNG. One type of RNG determines whether or not you live or die. It determines success or failure. Get to this part, flip a coin, something happens, you either get to keep going or you don't. Success or failure is up to a random aspect. But there's also just RNG which changes the circumstances under which you must perform. Sometimes the circumstances can change in an unfavorable way, and it can kill you, and it can seem like, well, isn't that the same thing as the first type of RNG? It determines whether or not you live or die. Maybe, perhaps, sometimes, but those two states of RNG are worth pointing out, because players tend to equate them as being the same thing. Like, oh, it's all RNG, it's all bad. Really what we mean is that RNG that determines whether or not you live or die is bad, and some racers don't dig the improvisation that you have to do. That's exactly why Kaizo 3 Bowser is a decent fight, is because it's RNG, yes, but you have a fair chance to react to that. It's the difference, it's like that George Carlin, the difference between football and baseball. It's like that. There's, like, in baseball, football will be played in any type of weather. Snowing, rain, sleet, hail. The game will continue. In baseball, if it's raining, we can't go out and play. Oh, I guess we can't go play today, it's raining. It's that. There's football RNG and baseball RNG. Pun intended with the chucks, too. You know, there's RNG that just kills you, and then there's just, like, adds an element. Okay, now do it while it's snowing, you know? Games like, my favorite video game on planet Earth, Millipede, is purely that. You know, Millipede old school, you get that a lot in old school high score arcade games, which is probably one of the reasons why they've fallen out of favor with modern gamers lately. But you get a lot of that, like, survivable RNG. You know, Centipede Millipede is basically Kaizo 3 Bowser, the game. You're just beset by random elements and you shoot things, but you're always dodging and reading the board. There is just like there's a skill with Cape, there is a certain skill involved with quickly reading the board, understanding where fire is going to spread, if there's shots, figuring out where those shots are going to contact. I call it vector convergence, which is just a really stupid pseudo-academic way of talking about there are two moving lines on the screen, two vectors. Figure out where they are going to meet before they actually get there. Like there's a line in the lower right and a line in the upper right, and they're moving toward each other. Where are they going to intersect? And if you can figure that out ahead of time and see that intersection, that's a skill that helps in all kinds of things in games. But yeah, you know, there is this. What is it? In football, the object is to destroy the enemy team with long bombs, passes, and marching your troops into enemy territory to conquer the goal. In baseball, the object is to be safe and to go home. I hope I'm safe at home. It's really... It is, though. It's a way to put it. Some RNG just kills you, fine, that's bad. Some RNG is the weather, and that's just what you gotta do. So in the case of non-patched Cape turnaround, it is the weather. Sometimes it might rain a little bit. You gotta deal with that. Sometimes you might not get what you want, but you can still keep going. And I realize too, the difference between those is a little bit pedantic, right? Like, well, we would have won the football game had it not been snowing and I could have seen, you know? So like, yeah, the RNG did get you, but it wasn't the sole determining factor. I think that's like the difference. See, I mean, when I think of RNG, I think of Kaizo 3 Bowser or the game Millipede. And to go with, because probably more people have played Kaizo 3 Bowser here than have played the game Millipede. You know, I like what Kaizo 3 Bowser is. Oh, muzzle! Yo, I saw that! Oh, I thought they were gonna go down, but they got it by the skin of their pants. Good job, Muzzle. Well played. Muzzle, a really strong player. GG. That's the sub 35 and the big win. Nice job, Muzzle. Well done. Well done. It's Endless Ascent here working on the first section. Proto Pizza up here. Germ Dove. Ender of Games. We're flying. We're turning. If you have questions, you will be asking and then you'll be learning. These are the final four, so get burning. All these extra cool points you'll be earning. Now, along with the regular cape stuff that we've seen, you also have states. And this is where cape gets a little bit really esoteric, and I might need some help from the cape deities in chat to help me explain some of this stuff. But the game understands distinct states of Mario when you are in the cape. You have the dive bombing state, where you've held forward long enough to make Mario go into that dive bomb state. You have the floating state and the cape puffed out state. Now let's say, for example, you couldn't actually see which state you were in. Well, that's exactly the situation that you find yourself in when you're doing Yoshi Flight. Because this level doesn't have it, but it's quite possible to mount Yoshi while you're flying like this. And in so doing, you now have the puffed out cape state, but you're also on Yoshi. Additionally, yes, flying with a held item. You could also have your cape puffed out and be doing this flight, but now since you're holding an item, the game doesn't show you the graphic of Mario's head going down and the cape pumping and happening. So now you have to rely on more subtle visual clues, like Mario's cape fluttering while you're holding an object, or you just kind of have to feel it. With a Yoshi Flight, you just kind of feel that timing. With a held item, same thing. Or let's say you're holding an item and you want to dive bomb. Well, normally you can see Mario's cape go into the dive bomb state. It kind of gets elongated, and then they're like, okay, you're definitely dive bombing now. But if you're on Yoshi or you're holding an item, you don't actually know because you can't actually see it. So again, that's another way that cape is subtle. It's made with a lot of subtle feeling and technique, where you really just have to have spent a lot of time with it. There's a rhythm for pumping, right? Brip, 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 brip. That's kind of that's the rhythm. It's about right there. That's that tempo. And like the really good cape players have just kind of memorized that tempo. You know, that gave me I just now got a sinister idea. A really sinister idea. Maybe this would suck incredibly. What if Mario's head went up and down faster? Like, it was like the same thing as cape, but you had to like press the pump like twice as fast in order to do it. I feel like that would suck. Yes, you can slow down while flying in the original game. Yes, that is just a regular property of cape that ROM hacks exploit to get you to do things. The interesting thing is that what's really weird, well, two things. One is that, here's just a fun fact for you. Did you know that the Prima strategy guide for Super Mario World, the same one that I had as a kid, I believe published in 1991 or 92, black and white images in the book. I own 2 of these, by the way, because they're nostalgic. Did you know that the Prima Mario World strategy guide actually tells you about the turnaround? They knew about it. They call it the turn. And they say, if you're flying with your cape and you press X or Y, sometimes you will face the opposite direction. You never really need this move, but it's cool to do. And I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, right? Yeah, there's somebody's uncle worked at Nintendo to know about that one. But go look it up for yourself. The Prima Mario World strategy guide from the 90s does tell you about the turn, which I thought was super fascinating. But the thing is really that in the regular vanilla game, you never use this kind of stuff. Vanilla speedrunners fly over the level and they tap forward to do speed up incrementation, so they're technically flying a little faster than they ought to be able to. That's it. The vanilla game doesn't ever need you to turn around with the cape, to slow down while you're flying with the cape, let alone hold an item and fly with it or fly on Yoshi. And yet, the mechanics have all that subtlety. What the heck? You know what I mean? Like, I've never really been able to understand, like, did they program all of this in? Is it kind of like an oversight or a nuance? It's very strange like that. Yeah, and another reason why Mario World is just such a happy accident it's the perfect storm of malleability and depth of tech to create these very nuanced, not only ROM hacks, but then sub-disciplines of tech inside the ROM hacks themselves. You could just specialize and be a jazz guitar player. In the same way one could specialize and be a cape player. Germ Dove, yo! It's not over yet, pal. Yeah, a series of fortuitous bugs, yeah, because yeah, I think you're right about that. Cape, the Mario Maker cape is kind of how Nintendo envisioned it. But it's really, it's fascinating, and it's just a testament to this game that the unintended things that happen can be studied to such a degree that they become their own lexicon of tech and abilities. Like, it is really possible to write an entire advanced strategy guide for Mario World that teaches you how to do these impossibly difficult things that are always consistent, but the original game never requires them in any way. It's just utterly fascinating to me. Cape is one of those aspects of Mario World that just, I don't know, just like I said, just really shows off what an absolutely perfect storm of fortuitous bugs, malleability under the hood, consistent learnable tech, and depth that is beyond what's in the game. The randomness of the turnaround just operates on the same frame rule as the direction you end up facing after a spin jump. That makes sense. Yeah, going up in this section would be rough. I actually think that's kind of a wise decision, Shovda. You were gonna do it up, but then you didn't want the custom camera. I think sometimes the camera that follows Mario vertically is kind of like more of a curse than a blessing sometimes. Like, yeah, you want to be able to see Mario, so it's necessary in some levels, but then you get that like really bouncy movement. The screen is always going whoa, whoa, up and down, you know, and especially with Cape, if you go up a little bit, the screen moves, you go down a little bit, and that can like be like some like motion sickness kind of jam, you know? Yeah, spin fly is another one because your takeoff meter is always accumulating. When you're running to get P speed, you also have accumulated an amount of takeoff meter that can be stored or spent, and it doesn't care whether or not you're spinning or regular jumping. I want to say that, honestly, spin fly is probably dev intended to some degree. I'm willing to bet that the OG devs knew that if you have a cape and you get P speed and you spin jump, you'll jump really high because your takeoff meter will be translated over into height. I don't know, if I had to guess, I feel like my uncle knew that one at Nintendo. Or my buddy Billy's uncle. It's the same uncle. Billy's my cousin. Yeah, true. It's not not in the manual. Yeah. But yeah, I kind of do believe that just seems something that would be really like, I don't know, you're a professional game company. I feel like they probably noticed that. I don't know. The one thing we really can know for sure about this game is that it was not designed for what we're doing for it. Like, it was, we have come so far with Kaizo, and we really, like, it's helpful sometimes to back up and realize that vanilla Mario World was, like, as hard as they had intended this to be. A lot of the things that we use in Kaizo as tech and properties of the game are actually things that are supposed to kind of help players make it easier on them. Like slow fall, you know what I mean? Slow fall is a trick just to kind of make it easier for casual players, and we've just turned that into like the most intense regrab tech in the world. Oh, germed up, nice try, I saw that. Oh, it was there the whole time. Yoshi Flight was in the manual the whole time. Interesting. Hold up, wait. While we're hanging here, I'm gonna get my Prima strategy guide down and see if it says anything else about Kate. All right, I got it. It's right here on my shelf. Prima, Secrets of the Games. Super Mario World Game Secrets, the unauthorized edition. Yo, you know who else is unauthorized? Well, no, they're authorized. Germdove, rather, is authorized to grab that orb and getting out of the level. Nicely done. Germdove, well played. Leave it to a Germdove to fly very well. It's Endless Ascent, Proto Pizza, and Ender of Games hanging out here on your TV. Or phone, I suppose. Let me see here. I'm looking at what the guide says about Cape. Oh, germed up. Well played, well played. You got it though. You got out of here. Did you know, fun fact, the big goal at the end of the level is called a giant gate? True story. Oh, the Prima strategy guide also calls springs jumping boards, power balloons. Note blocks are called jump blocks. Turn blocks are called rotating blocks. Question blocks are called prize blocks. Here we are. Here we are. Cape Mastery from the Prima strategy guide. What year did this come out? $1991 by Russell Demara and Zach Meston. And here's what they have to say about Cape Mastery in 1991. There are several techniques you absolutely must know to become an expert with the cape. When you've got the cape wired, you should be able to gain altitude and even turn around in midair. The wave. Learn to go into a power dive, then pull strongly out and soar back into the air. The wave will keep you at roughly the same altitude, although you'll probably fall lower a bit every time you pull up. Practice the wave because you'll need it to reach a few hidden goals. The pump. By tilting down just slightly, then tilting back up, you'll gain a bit of altitude. The longer you keep pumping, the more altitude you'll gain. The pump is the technique to use in this strategy below. The turn. Press the X button in the air to spin around. Sometimes you'll end up facing the same way, but other times you'll be going in the opposite direction. You won't really need to use the turn very much, but it's still a neat trick to show off. In quite a few worlds, it's possible to fly through with the cape. All you have to do is get a running start at the beginning of the world, then take off and go to the right and keep flying. Keep your altitude and you'll hit the giant gate before you know it. Now, using this technique isn't cheating, but it is taking some of the fun out of the game. Whenever we used the cape to get through a world quickly, we came back later and explored along the ground. This is a lot more fun than staring at the clouds for 30 seconds as you zoom to the right. If you use the cape to get quickly through a world, go back later and explore. You'll have more fun and find some interesting things. And that's what the Prima Strategy Guide has to say about cape. That's the height of cape tech in 1991. That's what Russell Damara and Zach Meston had to say. I wonder where they are now. I wonder how they're doing. How's Russell and Zach doing these days? And that writer's name was Pagyo. That would blow my mind. That would actually blow my mind. Yeah, that's super funny how it's like, well, it's not cheating, but it is cheating yourself. Oh, glorious. Yo, we're hanging out here. Endless Descent, Proto Pizza, Ender of Games. Working hard on the first section. We got a lot of cape to learn. To be sure, when they say the wave, what they mean is dive bombing. They mean dive bomb state. They mean dive bomb and go back up in the air. That's what they call that the wave. Which I think is funny. We should start using that again. Like, yo, do you know how to do the wave? There's that 90s thing of like giving like tubular radical names to all the tricks. The Mondo wave. That's like freaking like all the ridiculous names you gave to hacky sack tricks back in the day. The Flaming Jester. Can you do the double jester Joker move? Like, dude. You know the wave, man? Or it's like some 1940s, 50s dance craze. All the kids down at the speakeasy are doing this new dance called the wave. You know what? Dance crazes aren't like a thing anymore, are they? You know, I guess on TikTok. But remember, like, it seemed like in the 50s, like, it was like an airborne kind of virus thing. And it was just like, everybody's doing the new dance. Like, that was it. That was like the hot thing, you know? You're hanging out with like your cool kid friends. Like, what are we gonna do today, cool guys? Like, oh, I know. Let's do this new dance called the Charleston. Yeah. Yeah, Fortnite dance. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah, I guess that was like the first time there's been a dance craze in a while. I don't know, maybe I just don't go where they are. Maybe I don't see dance crazes because I don't dance, really. I want to learn how to tap dance, but like badly, you know? Like, I don't really want to learn how to tap dance, I just want to wear tap shoes and then just like take it back, just like all the time. People be like, shut up. I'm like, I'm learning how to tap dance, man. Slowly. Tappa, tappa, tappa. Tap dancing seems like illegal. It just seems illegal. Like, I'm not trying to do like a footloose kind of jam on that, but it just seems a bit illegal. Like it shouldn't be possible. Like, you're just wiggling your feet around. And you're like, biggity biggity bow, biggity bow, biggity biggity bow, biggity bow, bow, biggity bow, 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 bow. Like, that just doesn't seem like you're using like some dark magic or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm always a little suspicious if I see someone tap dancing. I'm like, you have magic powers. It seems illegal. It seems illegal dark magic to me. I don't know. Like, they just wiggle their feet a little bit and then all these tones come out. Like, what are you trying to do to me? Like, what is this? Dancing is forbidden. Dancing is forbidden. I know, I can't even wingle. I can't even wingle my fingers fast enough. Like, in the abstract. I see some of these shred players, and it's just like I can't even wingle them. I can't do it. Can't even wingle my fingers. Well, yo, if you're hanging out here, if you would like to learn a little bit more about what's going on in the level, Endless Ascent, Proto Pizza, Ender of Games, working hard here on the first section of this cape, cape level. Big tough tech tonight. These racers are up for it. How are you all feeling tonight? What's up? What's on your minds? I feel like how rude of me. I have not even asked. I hope you're all feeling well. Thanks for making ROM Hack Races a little part of your Saturday. Now, what are you playing? What's up? How are you? A Wingull is a Pokemon. It took me a minute. Yeah. Pokemon. What's your favorite Pokemon? Is it Furret? Furret's pretty great. It's Furret, right? Karma Zoo. Never heard of that. Seems cool. Cool name. Aww. I found you too, Shovda. I was like, I know her. That's my friend. That's my friend, I know her. Arcanine's also fine. Good one. I don't really know all the Pokemon. I only know about 158 or so. Like all the original 151. I know those guys and gals and non-binary mons. But after that, it gets a little sketchy. I don't really know that many of them. And I've seen the whole list of them, and there's just like so many, dude. So many. You know, a new Pokemon I found, I like Conbee. They're really cool. They're like 3 little bees, and then a little cute little honeycomb. I like Conbee a lot. Scyther's good. Appleton. Are they made out of apples? I like that one that's, what's it called? Garbodor? It's made out of trash. It's like a Totoro made out of trash. I like that one. I remember when Meryl was called Peekaboo. They never should have changed that, really. It was a better name. Pokemon's been going downhill since they changed Peekaboo to Meryl. Some of the OGs remember Peekaboo. Okay, then there were 2. Endless Ascent, Ender of Games. Did we lose? Oh, did we lose Proto Pizza? Good try. Hey, everyone that comes out and tries these levels is doing a really good job. Please cheer for the racers. I like Ditto. Ditto's awesome. Little fire bubble bobble. I like those. Bub and Bob. Now is the beginning of a great adventure. Let us make a journey to the Cave of Monsters. Yo, Ender Games, thank you for the raid. Thank you so much for the raid. Thanks for racing with us tonight. We really appreciate it. Y'all are really brave and skilled and kind, and I'm really grateful to do this with everybody. Thank you for racing, Ender. It's good to see you. I hope you're feeling well tonight. Well, then there were one. Now, usually, y'all, we do schedule 2 hours for the broadcasts. We never know. Sometimes, you know, racers are very fast. Sometimes racers are take a little bit more time. I want to let everybody know you can follow RomHack Races right here. And every Saturday night we have a fresh Super Mario World Kaizo level, and we're gonna have one tomorrow night. We are with one racer down. We are going to we're gonna go raid here for a little bit. Proto Pizza, thank you so much for racing with us. You did very well. Everybody did really well. Cape is a tough discipline, and maybe some of y'all can go and practice your vanilla turnarounds. Try some Volpe's Friend, maybe some Let's Give Up. Well, Let's Give Up has it patched, but yeah, go even just go to Donut Plains 1 in the vanilla game. Don't forget about that Cape learning area. Donut Plains 1 vanilla game, and just go and work on your turnarounds. Thank you all for hanging out and watching. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we schedule 2 hours. Sometimes we go under a little bit. We have another level coming up on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a new maker. Everyone's welcome to sign up or check out romhackraces.com if you'd like to learn a little bit more and hang out on the server. We are going to throw the raid over. I want to thank Fen again for restreaming tonight, Dr. No for all they do behind the scenes, Mithrillionaire Silent Snake, Gossip Greg, Blue Ribbon High Life, RB Pimlico, Solve for X for testing, and Star-Lord, Blue Ribbon, Fen for scouting. Of course, Kelgand always helping us out. D4, big shout outs to D4. Go check out her Patreon if you're liking some of the ASM in Grand Poo World 3 that was made by D to the 4th. She is an actual genius. We are going to go raid Endless Descent, and I hope to see you around the Kaizo community this week. Thank you for being so kind and cool. Really appreciate it. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. You matter. Your thoughts matter. Your heart matters. Your feelings matter. You matter to other people in your lives. You matter to me as human beings. You matter to the internet's #1 longboy furret, and the people that matter to you in your lives. Would love to hear from you about that. We know Black Lives Matter, LGBTQIA+ lives matter, Indigenous and disabled lives matter, autistic lives matter, and you, thank you for hanging out tonight. It is truly an honor. Volunteer if you'd like to help us out a little bit more, and I hope to see you back next Saturday for another race. Thank you, Shovda, for making. Thank you, all of you, for watching. Please take care. Keep hacking. Peace out.